It sounds impossible. In today's world of GPS, Google Earth, and satellite tracking, how can anyone even get lost? We've sailed countless miles across open ocean, somehow managing to find the smallest specks of land in remote, far-flung places. And yet today, we're not actually sure where we're going. Already being blown off course by a major storm, and having to anchor in a submerged atoll somewhere in the middle of the Pacific, now we find ourselves sailing towards what might be the most confusing place on Earth. It is so controversial that some governments deny its very existence.
There are some places we have been that have totally blown our minds. Here, for example, in Beveridge Reef, we are on this tiny submerged coral atoll in the middle of the Pacific with nothing but breaking waves all around us. However, where we are planning to go next is something quite special and quite unique. We think we're going to a new country, but we're not too sure.
Yeah, we will tell you more about that in a second. For now, we are just going to lift the anchor quickly and get going because we have about 24 hours to sail and we're on a deadline. All right, ready?
Ready.
Coming up.
All right, let's go. So our time here in Beveridge Reef has been amazing. However, it's been incredibly rolly and swirly, so we kept changing direction. And that means that despite our best efforts, I'm pretty sure our anchor chain is kind of winding its way between some of the coral heads that are in here. It's kind of typical because it's 80% sand, and yet, of course, your anchor chain is going to find the coral heads in the rocks. Can't win.
You come forward, please. Straight down.
Cool. I'm going to drag it forward anyway.
Port side a little bit behind us.
It's also kind of wild to think that when we arrived here, we could see the breakers on the outer reef, or the reef. And they were, you know, the size of maybe one and a half story buildings. They were 5 meters, whatever that translates to in your location. And now they just look like normal Pacific waves. They're still breaking on the entire perimeter of the atoll, which you can see from right here, which is hilarious. But they're not nearly as terrifying as when we came in 40 knots of wind and then sat through 50. Turning. I was chasing you and then I was like, I'm sure meant to be going over there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep my balance.
It's like surfing.
I think it must be about there.
Yeah.
We're right over it now.
Perfect.
Clear.
Clear. Woo. And we're off. So we didn't really get to show you the pass on the way in because it was absolutely howling. However, it appears it's still kind of howling. The wind isn't nearly as bad, but what makes this pass weird is there's no real definition of the sights. So you can see breaking waves around us, but there isn't obviously a channel to go through. We have to just kind of figure out as we go along. And having dived it, we know there should be no grounding dangers, but the depth is really inconsistent. So it goes from like 25 meters up to maybe 12 meters. And so the chart, or our depth gauge, is just like going up and down valleys constantly, which is just a bit concerning when you're guessing your way around. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, we've got 4 knots just like flying out. So we're going out here pretty quickly, but we are almost clear of the chop now. It's just so surreal, like when you're trying to line up to go through with no landmass to use as a reference to just make sure that you're in the right place and not about to go over a reef. So we're back to 30 meters now. I think the shallowest I saw was 8, so yeah, it wasn't too bad, but coming in was like crazy because we had 0 visibility, but there was nothing to see anyway. So going out is a little bit easier when, I don't know, we're aiming for the ocean rather than aiming for a tiny atoll.
It must have been surreal for like the original like wayfinders out here, you know, in your canoe with your sort of triangular sail that's like upside down, and you're just cruising through open ocean, and then suddenly you're met with this wild torrent, and you don't know why. There's no charts, there's no explanation. You can't even see land to give you a clue as to what's going on. So I'm feeling quite thankful that we have at least basic charts. I didn't mention earlier, but even Google Maps don't have this on satellite image. So it really is an undiscovered, unexplored little atoll in the middle of the ocean.
No matter how long we've been sailing, we still get surprised by the conditions. So we were telling ourselves today, oh, it's going to be a lovely, easy downwind run. We even got the spinnaker out on deck because the wind is going to kind of die. And we knew it was going to be a little bit kind of on our beam to start with and then turn behind us. But we've currently got one reef in the mainsail, one reef in the Genoa, engines off, and we are flying at 9.5 knots, saying we're going to get there at 6 a.m. tomorrow, which is far too early. But it's a nice start. I'm sure things will change later on as the wind shifts behind us. We will slow down. We might end up dropping the main, but woohoo, we're going. So what was that you were saying about let's not bother stashing everything away properly because it's not going to be that rolly out there today?
Right, so I know that we'll get some grief for this, but because generally speaking, monohulls live on a lean and catamarans generally live quite flat, we get used to like leaving drinks out on the kitchen counter when we're underway and things. And so, especially on a downwind sail, it's pretty much you can get on with anything you like, I think. However, when it's on the beam like this and the waves are fairly high, stuff does start to fall over. And on our way here, we made that mistake because we weren't expecting it to be quite so exciting and lots of things broke. Whereas I was like, this time's easy, downwind, all the way. Be sitting there sipping cocktails from the trampoline.
On you go, up to the trampoline with you.
Gonna have my swim shorts. All right, now that we have settled into a comfortable 8.5 knots, it's time to explain where we're actually going. So I mentioned it's somewhere quite special and we weren't too sure if it was a new country. The reason being, not everyone thinks it is a country, which is unusual. We've not done this before, but basically we're going to a tiny island called Niue, which is kind of ironic given it's a new country. It's only about, 1.5 years old, according to certain places like the US, Turkey, India. Like there's a bunch of places that have only just recently said this is a country, we'll accept it in an international status. I don't really understand what it means to join a country club. You know what I mean. But other countries like the UK and New Zealand don't recognize this place as its own independent sovereign nation. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go. The tricky thing we have about it is we have actually got an appointment. So the reason we're struggling with our speed is that India is really keen to get there, as are we, but we're not allowed to arrive before between 12 and 2, I think, is our ETA. Our required ETA. Our actual ETA is about 4 a.m.
Yeah, so Niue is an island full of cliffs, which means that underwater those cliffs continue and there's basically zero anchoring possible because it is so deep. Thankfully, they have a little yacht club there who have installed, I'm not sure how many, maybe like 15 mooring balls. But you have to book them in advance because there's no alternative. If you turn up and there are no mooring balls left, then you're sailing another few hundred miles onto another country. So we have booked a mooring ball, and that means that we can't arrive too early because it won't be available yet, and our booking doesn't start until the afternoon. So yeah, hopefully the wind dies out and we slow down a little bit, and then we'll just arrive nicely at lunchtime tomorrow for a new place. Well, the plan worked. It is now 5 a.m. and the winds have calmed down, the waves have calmed down. I mean, the winds died out when we were only going at 2 knots for a while, but we're now back up at a healthy 5 knots downwind, super comfortable, approaching the island, not too close, so the sun should rise before we actually crash into it. It is absolutely freezing because there's this huge system down in the south, which is where all of our wind is coming from, and so I'm just sat here absolutely shivering. But thankfully, our super warm Gumby's jackets, I'm actually pretty toasty. It's basically like sitting inside a sleeping bag. I am not complaining, but yeah, last little bit and we should hopefully get a sight of land as the sun comes up.
Someone put an island there. Yeah, that is Niue. We have finally made it. We're within about 17 miles. The wind is maybe not perfectly cooperating because we're going to have to head on this angle and then jibe up to arrive. The actual anchorage or mooring field that we're aiming for is around the backside. So we're just gonna have to go around the island and then a whole new country.
All right, Ian's getting impatient. We are going to jibe up towards the island. I think that we're going to have to jibe a second time because we're actually going to hit the corner, but we'll try
I
and
don't
see.
care.
I think we should do it because I'm impatient and it means we get closer to the land and I can see stuff to look at.
And then you can be excited.
And I'll be excited about it. And then we can just do a little tiny jibe and then we're into the anchorage. Why not? Let's do it. I am a sailing wizard.
Smug much?
Very smug much. So we were at 150?
Yeah.
We were at 150 degrees going this way. And you were like, nah, it's too soon to turn, too soon to turn. No, let's do it, we'll do it, we'll do it. What angle are we at? The other way now?
140 and I can still turn in more.
Yeah, baby! That's perfect. Niue radio, this is Indioko, over.
Indioko, once you get your mooring and get your dinghy in the water, then please call us on 16.
Fantastic, we will do, thank you very much.
We've furled the Genoa now and we've just come around the final corner into the bay, into the protected waters, and this place looks absolutely stunning. The whole wall behind me, this whole cliff, is just filled with caves. It looks so interesting and so different to everywhere that we have been for the last 2 years, where everything was like a flat atoll, maybe a meter or two above sea level, and that's it, a couple of palm trees and a bit of sand. And this is like green and different and interesting. I cannot wait to get out and explore and go see what this place is like, because I just don't know what to expect, but it looks fascinating.
All right, just like that, we have arrived. This place looks insane. There's like these worn away cliff edge kind of caves all the way around, as we've seen on the way in. And there's like beautiful beigey sandy beaches in the sunshine, palm trees, houses on the cliff tops with little ladders coming down. I mean, this feels a bit Tracy Island-esque, I'm not gonna lie.
So we've just radioed in and they've said we are allowed to come to shore now so that we can go and clear in and do all of our paperwork and stuff. And there is something quite different about going to shore here, and it's something that we have not seen anywhere else in the world. So yeah, we'll go and show you.
The water is ridiculously clear here.
I know, right? And it's so deep.
Yeah, so they have us on mooring balls because it's too deep to anchor. So that's why everyone here has to book out a mooring ball for a limited amount of time while we're here. And then new boats obviously want to come in, so we have to get cleared out. However, this is going to be something of a challenge. As I say, it's super deep, which also means they don't really have any beaches. The beaches you see here are all sheltered by like a coral reef in front of them. So there's not really anywhere you can drag your dinghy up on the sand. So they came up with this. It's a full-blown electric, heavy-duty wire crane system. And yes, we are going to haul this dinghy up 8 feet and somehow put it on dry land.
I mean, this is not your normal just pop to shore with your dinghy, tie up to the dinghy dock. This is going to be exciting. Okay, so here comes the test for the new slings that we've put in our dinghy.
The new bridle system we came up with.
How much do we trust it?
Basically, we have some of the climbing slings that we use when we've got the masts and things. And they can hold humans. So,
yeah, dinghy's about the weight of a person.
Well, the dinghy is. And
Plus
then
the
that
outboard.
is.
It'll be fine.
It'll be
This lifts
fine.
bigger things.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, so I think my favourite thing about this is that this is not like a staffed system. There's just a massive mechanical crane here and you're expected to figure it out yourself. So how badly wrong could this possibly go?
Turn things around.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Going up.
This can't be any harder than when we did the engines.
Imagine if we had one of these when we did the
Oh,
engines.
it's weird. Whoa, it's out the water. We're up. Whey. We're up and away.
Yeah, that was hanging at an angle. It's not quite as
Graceful.
beautiful as I was expecting.
And it's displaying itself.
It's very high. Probably enough, isn't it?
That's probably about right.
All right.
Okay, do you want to use the helpfully provided line?
Yeah, and then I'll just pull this in. This the engine too.
I feel like somebody with a little bit more BMI might be useful.
It's going! Whee! Okay.
Bit more.
Yeah, but it's got momentum.
Yeah, okay, let's hold there then.
All right, so then we have like a trolley thing that we're gonna lower it onto and then just wheel it over that way.
So we're quite literally putting the dinghy into a car park. There are cars here, but we're going to park our dinghy in a space that has been marked out for the dinghies.
All right, ready to lower?
Let's find out.
Going down. Oh, it feels very fast.
It can go slower. It didn't go any slower.
And we're down. They literally have little painted parking bays for dinghies here, and you just lower it off the trolley thing onto the concrete. And I guess we have to hope that we don't like scratch the bottom, because our dinghy's quite new and shiny and lovely. We want to take care of it.
This trolley doesn't really go backwards.
No, backwards is not its forte.
There we go.
Nice.
I think this is a good spot.
I like this spot.
This spot's a great spot. Okay, going down.
So we're going to rely on Ian's strength to lift the dinghy, and I'm just going to whisk the trolley away.
The dinghy's so heavy.
Yeah, I don't think I could lift it. Can you lift it?
Just don't take out my ankle.
Almost. Yes, look at that. Smooth.
Now watch me bench press.
And then we just need to return the crane out over the water and down again, so that if somebody comes in the next dinghy, it is all prepped and ready for them and they're not stuck in the sea with the crane up here. It's a great community system, I like it.
I mean, have you seen how this crane is actually built? It's quite impressive, because the lifting hook's over there, but the actual wire runs down the mast, under our feet, and then all the way up the hill where the actual winch is.
It's really industrious, isn't it?
Well, it kind of feels like the sort of thing where it used to be that there was just some kind of slip here, and then they built this big dock out, and so they just didn't want to move the crane. So they just extended the wire and did all of this. But it's pretty neat. It's probably the biggest thing we've ever used to lift a dinghy or an outboard or an engine.
I like it. Do you think we can get one and take it around with us?
I mean, if we'd had that for the nanny engine install, that would have been a breeze. All right, now that we're all checked in and official, we thought A, we would stretch our legs. B, we heard that there might be somewhere we can get laundry done, because
we are in desperate need. We've not actually run out of water since we refilled our tanks with rainwater a few weeks ago, but
laundry takes up a lot of water.
Yes. And it's not a priority, so sorry, we stink.
Stink-o-vision would definitely not be a good thing on this episode. And I mean, today just keeps getting better and better. I'm not going to lie. Oh, car coming.
The people here on Niue are so incredibly generous. We just dropped off our laundry, which is not like at a business, it's just at a lady's house. And not only has she given us like her business cards so we can give them to the other cruisers, she has given us some organic Niue honey, which is like a delicacy of this country. And it's like a massive pot of it just for free as a gift.
Yeah, I just happened to be mentioning that I was quite excited to look into the Niue honey because it's kind of a thing here. And she just disappeared off into her back room, came back and was like, oh, I can spare this much. Like, we can't just take honey from you. She was quite insistent.
She really was, yeah.
Yeah, lovely lady called Hina. Apparently, she loves to help out cruisers in all sorts of ways. So she's lent her bike to people in the past. She's got papaya trees that she gives people papayas from and all sorts.
She has this great vision. So in the future, she wants to build out a proper laundromat in front of her house, but build some accommodations so that if you get like a reversal of the wind and swell and it gets too rough for the sailors, they can come and actually sleep there.
With
and then
Wi-Fi.
she'll provide breakfast and everything, yeah.
Breakfast and Wi-Fi. I think it's a great idea. So,
yeah, that would be really cool.
I mean, you don't get that in every laundromat you ever go to. But take note, if you run a laundromat, accommodation for sailors and free Wi-Fi.
So although Niue is like a really small country, a really small island, it is actually a lot more built up than I was expecting. They even, along here, have a tourist information centre, which I've heard is incredibly helpful, can tell us everything that is happening on the island. And we also have another reason for going there.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about this for quite a long time, but there is a fairly unique thing in the world called cruiser mail, or at least that's what we call it, which is all these boats sailing around the place realize that you might need something from a different part of the world. And so recently we've been doing a bit of spear fishing and our speargun disintegrated, which is quite unfortunate. However, I put a message out, and a cruiser who was still all the way back in French Polynesia actually said they had a spare one and they were willing to gift it to us, which is incredibly generous. And however, we were ahead of them. And then we went all the way up to Penryn, and then we were behind them. And so they, in the generosity and in their kindness, decided, you know what, I'll take it here, I'll leave it at the information centre, and then you can just pick it up. So it's kind of like these little mail drops between boats. The last time we did it was with the sewing machine way, way back.
I think that went on 5 different boats through 3 different countries before it got to us. But
It did take about 6 months.
It did, but cruisers generally are so kind of generous with their time and logistics because everybody knows how difficult it is to get stuff. So we've never met this boat who are giving us this speargun, but they were here last week and they were like, oh, we'll leave it for you.
We did cross paths, literally crossed wakes with them on one of our passages. I can't remember
Oh,
where it was.
we did, yeah, somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
And said thanks for their help, even though we didn't know if it all worked out yet. So yeah, let's see how it goes. You're a legend, thank you. Now you're in video too.
There is some success right there. You're now armed with a speargun, which it is illegal to do it here, so we're going to have to wait to actually test it out until we get to a country that allows us to play. But
it was quite nice because she's like, are you planning to spearfish here? I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not allowed. She's like, correct.
that is the right answer.
Absolutely fine. No, this is not for usage here, but it is going to help us when we get back into the world where we are allowed to spearfish, because we've discovered that grouper is quite tasty.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
We're also now paying it forward because somebody left this package of information for one of the boats out in the anchorage. So we've taken this to pass it on to them. So we're just doing a little bit to
cruiser mail continues
all around. And then, yeah, we're just kind of hanging out because this evening, a lot of the boats are coming into shore to head down to one of the bars, has a happy hour and pizza. And we've not had, sorry, that was really noisy. We've not had pizza in a very long time.
I cannot wait for visit. Passage pizza, we've got some catching up to do. So there's been at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 passages that I need to eat pizza for.
So Ian's going to have 25 pizzas tonight, and this is going to go really well.
We are bankrupt already. Time to go into the red.
Well, we've just arrived and dropped the dinghy to go and clear in, and we've got a little surprise.
At some point in our little passage that was so lovely and easy, a squid has managed to jump, quite a large squid has jumped up, and then I think a bird has actually come in and had a go at it because it appears to be in 2 pieces.
Yeah, it does appear to not be all together whole.
It reeks, it stinks.